How we doing, team? And welcome back to a brand new podcast, the Simply Podcast by myself, Simply or Spud, whatever you prefer. But guys, if you are new to the podcast, please do consider following, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please do consider subscribing as well. Obviously, it helps out massively. This is still fairly in its infancy at the moment. This is only the second episode of the Simply Podcast. We also have our special guest today, which is Remy. Remy, how are we doing today?
Fantastic. Well, same shit, different shovel, as you know.
That is an expression and a half. But some of you might recognise Remy's voice. He was on the Simply Sport Pod, giving very interesting opinions on Ronaldo. Some of you might recognise him there. But listen, he has plenty of experience of podcasting from the Away On podcast, which you can catch obviously on your podcast, apps or whatever you use to listen to podcasts. You've got opportunities there. But if you are on the YouTube channel, you will see previous video that we did do with Remy and his podcast team there. So make sure you check that one out as well. But today, this is the general podcast. We can talk about anything in this one. It ranges from sport, it ranges to gaming, and even food. Because listen, we all love food, don't we? And we all have debates about it. So listen, that is one of the things we're going to be starting with today, because we have got, well, the food is a controversial thing, and I'm gonna basically debate with Remy here on what's maybe the right way of doing things. So yes, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Would you say?
Bear in mind, I was a chef, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, would you say you've got controversial food opinions?
Oh, I definitely do. Especially from working in the when I was a chef. Like, I was a chef for 4 years. I worked in very high-end restaurants. So a lot it does annoy a lot of people, especially when I'm cooking like at home or if I'm at somebody's house and I'm like cooking. I take control. And if somebody does something that I know is not the right professional way, like Michelin star standard of doing something, I'll tell them to get the fuck out of the kitchen.
Fair enough. Yeah, just the one where you fired. Oh, just Remy just told me to get to. It just. I only placed the toast butter side down. It's just yeah.
No, like chefs are like, that's why I got out of the game. Chefs are.
I should add. I don't know why you have toast in a kitchen to start off with.
You would be surprised. Some poncy ass fuckers would do like a toast. Like, this is a double sourdough on whole wheat with caviar, that kind of thing.
Yeah, M&S, isn't it? Like, this isn't just any bread. This is M&S bread. Just because of this advert alone, it costs an extra £3. Like, oh jeez, oh man. But yes,
be honest,
like
those M&S adverts are food porn.
Oh well, yeah. But yeah, we are going to be going down the list. I've got various different topics in which are maybe controversial, and team, also let me know as well. If you're watching this on TikTok or YouTube, let me know what your opinions as well are on these ones, and we can tell us if we get it right or whatnot. But listen, Remy, I've got a few topics here that we're going to discuss,
fire away.
And we'll see what the right ways are. First one, we'll start off nice and easy, which is a definite way to have these. How do you like your eggs?
Well, on behalf of my fiance, unfucking fertilized. Sorry. No, poached. I definitely go poached. Like, don't get me wrong, I do love a good fried egg or scrambled. Like, there is no real wrong way to do an egg, honestly. It's personal preference, but for me, I love a good poached egg, especially like, just like sitting on a nice bit of like sourdough toast. Like, like nice, lovely runny yolk. If you get a hard yolk, that's where I draw the line.
So it has to be runny, no matter what.
Oh yeah, runny yolk. Even like soft boiled eggs, not hard boiled.
Yeah, I am not great at cooking eggs. I can't lie to you. So I go
for a fucking egg.
Yeah, I probably go for what I would say is probably the second easiest way to cook eggs. So fried egg. If fried egg's the easiest, I would say
it would not surprise me if you've tried to cook a fucking egg in the microwave.
I have scrambled egg, and I do that in the microwave. So
what?
I do scrambled egg in the microwave.
Oh no!
Listen, mate, it's excellent. You
gotta be yoking.
It's cracking joke, that one. So I mean, listen, we're just coming out of our shell at the moment. Oh dear, I've just lost like all my listeners now. With those ones.
I think I bring it out of you. It's bad.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only other person you know that appreciates your dad humor.
Yeah, well, listen, you get the odd one, but yeah, 9 times out of 10, there's not many people.
There must be some like little spuds running around.
Oh dear, I hope not. I've got to be careful I don't upload this to Instagram. My mum's watching. But yeah, I can't lie. I like scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is my favorite way of having eggs. I just find
would you have them? What way do you do? Like obviously in the fucking microwave, but like would you have like some like flour or butter, like whatever your preferred spread is, a little bit of pouring cream and cheese on it.
Again, I'm very weird with this, right?
Right.
I don't necessarily like toast or anything with a scrambled egg. The one thing I do,
I would like it with a bit of like ham or like pancetta.
If we're saying outside of like a fry up, I mean usually we'd have fried egg anyway with fry up, but if I was to have it with fry up, yeah, that's fine. The only other way I usually have scrambled egg is, believe it or not, with just baked beans. And it's just the two of them. That's like that.
You know what? No, you know what? I can get behind that. I love.
I don't feel
a
well. A lot of people
beans.
are gonna tell me I'm a wrongin' for
No.
for having that one, but I appreciate the fact you agree with me. But I know full well that is an interesting one. A lot of people will not agree with that one.
Well, you see, here a lot of people, like, Gosha included, she would often like say that I'm disgusting because if I'm really hungry, but I just like say I'm sitting, I'm in a 5-10 hour gaming session, I can't leave the session. I would just like open the cupboard like beside us, grab a can of beans, open it, spoon, and start eating. I love it.
Come on, beans. No.
Not Heinz. No, Branston baked beans. Oof. Yummy.
Not even cooked.
No, like they are cooked. Like they're pre-cooked. Like see, with the kind of baked beans, they're like the Haduki beans themselves. If you want to like make your own like kind of baked bean, then a tomato-based sauce, maybe fry up a little bacon, some passata, and then throw your Haduki beans in. Right, yeah, you cook them that way.
Right, just to make sure. You're telling me you take them out of the cupboard, in the tin,
yeah,
and you eat them from the tin.
Oh yeah, proper fucking hobo. Like proper doomsday scenario binge eating.
To clarify, team, this wasn't on the list, but I feel like I've stumbled across something here that's absolutely criminal. I cannot believe you eat beans out of the tin without putting them in the microwave or in the hob or something.
I don't know if it's a North Belfast thing, but everyone I grew up around in North Belfast does it. I haven't met somebody outside of North Belfast that thinks it's fucking normal. Like all my friends over here that are like from all over Belfast, like all over Ireland, like even one to like Scotland, England, like from friends in Europe,
like this is
they all think I'm fucking batshit.
I feel like this is a reason why for any baked beans adverts you don't see people just eating it out the tin, right? Because this is not the intention of the product. They're probably like, no.
The M&S advert for beans is filmed underneath an old creaky bridge with some hobo.
Oh man, I can't believe we've stumbled across this. This is, no.
Yeah. There's plenty of like. There's another one that might make you turn a bit. It's a very, very popular thing in Belfast, well, all over Ireland. Tato cheese and onion crisp sandwich.
See, that's not uncommon for people to have the likes of like crisps and sandwiches and stuff like that. I mean, it's even like here people put brown sauce and stuff like that in their.
I always thought that was like that was unique to us.
Not hugely. Like around here, yeah, having a.
Mostly in construction.
I mean, here it's called like a crisp piece. Because obviously, like piece in, I mean, I don't know if it's the same with you, but it basically just means sandwich.
No,
anyway.
Because I think you're talking about like a burnt up corpse. That's one crisp piece. That.
No, but yes. Anyway. Let's back on track. I've got this list to go down. So let's try and cover each one. So next one. What is the best way to eat corn? Is it on the cob or is it loose?
The best way to eat corn is not to fucking eat it because it is the devil's food and it ends up in your shit. I hate corn.
But if you had to choose one, cob or on its own?
If I had to choose one, probably barbecued as a hob, like char grilled.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like with a little bit of butter and stuff over it. I think
if I was absolutely forced, like I had a gun to my head, I would choose a Cobb. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like corn, and in all honesty, I think I personally prefer it loose, just because like, I find on the cob, I find that on the cob it gets stuck in your teeth, a lot more. Like, you know, listen, get your mind out of the gutter right now.
Like, I'm not talking about liking it loose and having things stuck in the teeth. I mean,
mate,
these things are coming out of the mouth of the babe himself.
Listen, mate, keep it in your pants, right? Come on. So, next one, should a burger have pickles or gherkins? Is a lot of people call it.
No, a pickle should only be ate straight out of the jar, brine and all, just crunch.
See,
not in a burger.
I've never had that.
Really?
No, but like I don't think I've ever had
like pickled in a proper vinaigrette in the jar. No?
Yeah. Then again, I don't think we've ever had it in the house where I feel like, you know, people like we actually have the pickles in the jar. I mean, personally, I like the burger with them. Right, personally, that's just my personal preference on that one. But I can't say I've ever had that. Is you? I mean, you've got to actually go out, but it's not something I think typically. If I would like. People buy it on their
it's not a just in case buy, like you would buy like a tin of like lentils or something like that. It's not the kind of thing that you just go just in case. Like, it's very much like, I want this or not, and until you have it, it's not really something that you know you would like it that way or not.
Yeah, so
but
I
wouldn't have anything green on a burger in general. Like, what would your go-to toppings be for like a proper like 100% Angus beef burger?
Lettuce, tomato, cheese, pickles. I do. It depends on the sauce wise. Obviously, a lot of different sauces depending on which place you go as well. But if I was making it at home, I would probably put maybe tomato and mayonnaise on.
See, for me, I would like crispy American style bacon rashers. I
do like bacon.
Some barbecue pulled pork. And some blue cheese or blue cheese sauce.
Oh, not blue cheese, man.
Or maybe an Emmental.
Right, to clarify, when I was making this list, one of the things I seen was blue cheese, but I feel like okay, right, hold on. I'm about to say something maybe slightly controversial.
I'm the kind of
right,
okay.
All right, potentially, right, but this was a debate that we had, and it's apparently that blue cheese only becomes good as you get older. Because your taste buds are starting to go, basically.
Yeah, no, not because they're starting to go. It's because you develop a palate as you get older. Like, I remember when I was a child, I think, where were we? Kenya. We were in Kenya, and it was all inclusive. But my dad used to love blue cheese when I was a kid, and I just remember thinking it was revolting. So.
I was the same. What was the same with tomatoes? I used to absolutely hate tomatoes, but now I absolutely love them. I'm still like that way with mushrooms. I mean, in all honesty, I think it's just the thought of mushrooms in general. The fact that you're eating a fungus.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms. I
mean,
great on a night out. I've heard they're a real fun guy.
I'm so glad you finished that with a joke.
Oh, the other kind of mushroom.
Jeez, oh man.
No, not that bad.
Aye. But yeah, definitely.
Like, I'm very heavy into my cheeses. Not heavy into my cheeses. That sounds like an obsession. But I'm the kind of person that in a nice restaurant, I'll order a cheese board as a dessert.
Yeah, fairness, I do get that. I mean, I should add, I'm a very much more like, if I had the choice of dessert or starter, I'd always choose starter. I just prefer
savory.
I mean, I should add, I am allergic to chocolate, so that rules out immediately half.
Wait, what? How have I known you for this long and never knew that?
Oh, right. I'm allergic to the cocoa bean, so literally nearly all forms of chocolate are out the window for me straight away.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. I am also lactose intolerant, which is not great. So literally all desserts are more or less
taking you to Charlie and Chocolate Factory's a fucking no-go.
Pretty much, mate.
Jesus Christ, launch of.
I mean, like I say that, like
SpaceX should just hire your intestines as a new fuel source.
I mean, like, listen, mate. It's like chocolate's the worst. Well, it's the worst.
Dairy milk must be the worst.
It's actually more aspartame. Aspartame. Do you know what aspartame is?
Aspartame, no.
No, aspartame is a sweetener used in all kind of diet fizzy drinks. Basically that one's a really bad one for me. I can't have that one at all. but it's actually banned in the US because it comes from rat droppings. Um,
Well, clearly they've never. There's a coffee that is it's very expensive, and it's like that because it's sort of fermented in the guts of. I think it's a capybara. I think it is. It's a kind
what a
of
weird
rodent,
animal to choose for that.
yeah, it's passed through its intestine, and it comes and it shits it out whole. You clean it off, obviously, but then you make your coffee, or I think your coffee with it, and it's meant to be divine. I've never had it.
So this is an interesting one, right? Who comes up with these ideas, right?
Who was the first person to milk a cow? You're not telling me that they knew milk would come out of that. We both know that is not why they done that. Like, oh, that looks fun.
Oh, for
Like, booty.
God's sake, that was not. This isn't the direction I wanted this podcast to go.
Hey, you know, having me on any kind of show things can go fucking sideways. No, but think about it. Who's the first
Sideways,
person to
mate.
milk
I
a
don't.
cow?
Jesus, man. Like,
Well,
yeah.
why? I don't look at a cat and think,
No,
I wonder if that has something I can drink.
I'm stopping you right there before this gets even worse. Right? Stopping you right there before this gets even worse, man.
On top of that, have you ever had goat's milk? Because I've never had it. Like, Gosha, like, was very
I've
familiar
never
with
had goat's milk. I've had goat's cheese.
I've had goat's cheese. Yeah, most people have, but I've never
goat's
had.
cheese
It's
isn't
meant to be
bad, but do you
rather
not find
fun.
it a bit dry at times? Like,
Yeah.
Like it's not bad, but I don't think.
See, unfortunately, like I can't really say I've had it dry because my only experience of ever having goat's cheese, I used to work in a restaurant called Hatsky's, and there was a dish they had. It was like almost like a spring roll, but with goat's cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and then it had like it was served alongside a white beetroot, by the way. A white beetroot and a red beetroot on the other side, and you had to make sure not to stain the other. It was really weird.
Right. Well, yeah, that's cheese anyway. I don't even know how we got to cheese from. Because the next one,
you brought it up.
The next topic is actually very relevant. Is do you eat mac and cheese with a spoon or a fork?
I eat all pasta with a spoon. Because most pasta dishes I make, I serve them with a lovely sauce.
Just to clarify, you eat spaghetti bolognese with a spoon?
I don't eat spaghetti because I'm not a child.
Jeez, oh man, you've just like immediately more than half the podcast hates you because of that.
To be fair, I did actually forget about spaghetti and tagliatelle,
right,
but I so rarely use it when I'm cooking. Like I would mostly use like a penne or fusilli when I'm cooking.
I mean, so, like, in fairness, I get the. You know what? For mac and cheese wise, I've never actually thought of using
like a saucier dish, like because you don't want to just like put your fork through it and you just have whatever's on the fork. Like you get a nice scoop of it, you get a lovely bit of sauce, lovely bit of pasta, and you just whack it into the gob.
Yeah, when I saw this one, I was like, you know what? I've never actually thought of doing that.
No, genuinely, give it a try. Make a nice tomato based one.
It's not one that I've ever like considered, but you know what? Yeah, I'd be up for trying because it's not really a controversial one. It's just one I've never thought of. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, I've always 10 times out of 10 until now, I've always used a fork. Eating mac and cheese with. So listen, next time we're gonna try it with a spoon and see how that works out.
You'll find it's a lot cleaner and a lot more satisfying in a way because you get more depending on what size of spoon you use. Like I'm not saying to use a fucking ladle or anything, but like, if you use it like you get more, and it's just a much more wholesome feeling.
Gordon Ramsay, we're gonna stop you right there. So next one is
fucking raw. Sorry.
Right, next one's an interesting one, and it's not really one I can comment on. Edge or centerpiece brownie?
Centerpiece.
Centerpiece. So the nice clean square for you. You don't want.
Yeah, mostly because essentially an edge piece is just more crust.
Mm-hmm.
So do you really want more? See, I think a better way to put it is a cakey brownie or a chewy brownie. That would be a better question. Because I've known a lot of people that have given many different answers to this, and I personally I prefer like a nice chewy brownie.
Yeah.
Whereas like I've known people that like a nice cakey, where it's like not dry but like thick in a sense. If you get
Yeah.
it feels like you're biting through a chunk of something. Whereas I like it to like sort of like chew and like have sauce in it. Like that's my kind of brownie.
Fair enough. Well,
What about yourself?
I mean, I don't know. It's the problem.
Oh shit. Well, no, you can get non-chocolate brownies. They're called blondies.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there
Yeah.
we go. Looks like we're going to be trying something at some point. Right. Next one. This is definitely controversial, and I've had this discussion in my work as well. Do you keep ketchup in the fridge or pantry / cupboard?
Any fucker that puts any kind of sauce in the fucking fridge, no. They need to get their hard drive checked. I'm stealing one from James. They need their fucking hard drive checked.
So
red sauce, no, it doesn't go in the fridge.
I feel like it should, personally.
Oh, I think I have a bottle sitting over there. I want to see what temperature it says to keep it at.
Like, personally, once it's open, listen, if it's unopened, I'll put it in the cupboard or something like that. But once it's opened, it goes in the fridge for me. That's the same
Store in a cool, dry fucking place. There we go. Sorry.
Which is a fridge.
No, that's a cold, wet place. Humidity.
But it's still cool. Your cupboard could get warm in the summer if you don't have a central heating or something. Central heating, air conditioning.
No, to me that's a pantry, like somewhere nice and dry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
know.
I don't like the idea of having coal, like, because it gets it doesn't become like hard or anything, but it just feels thicker if it's cold. I don't like that.
You know what I like about when you've got cold sauce with like hot chips or something. Like, I'm just assuming 9 times out of 10 it's usually going to be chips or something. We're comparing this to if you haven't. The fact
if you're explaining it that way, I kind of understand it from the sense of it creates that sort of diversity of flavor palette, like the hot and the cold.
So, well, I mean, I'm looking at it from more practicality side of things. You don't have to blow in it so much because it cools it down, like near enough there and then. So as soon as you dip it, you're fine. I mean,
but what about the inside of the chip?
I mean, like then you just like. I mean, this is the action. Oh dear. Actually, I'm not. I was about to do the action that maybe you do when something's really hot in your mouth. But I feel like that's maybe something that could be clipped and taken out of context.
Bit suggestive.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that.
No, you get famous the Belle Delphine way.
I'm good. So
go on, for the camera. Just try do a wee Belle Delphine face. If it's good enough for Logan Paul, it's good enough for you.
I'm not doing it right. Never mind. Anyway. Right, we haven't really come up with an answer to that one, but I feel like no matter who we ask this to, the answer's near enough going to be different.
Yeah, I think that one's just so divisive.
It is. It's very much.
Depends on what house. It depends on what kind of house.
You know what? I feel like that one's almost more divisive than pineapple on pizza.
Anybody that puts pineapple on pizza is a fucking no.
Oh,
doesn't belong.
That's my favorite, to be honest.
Oh, I'm learning things about you today.
I can't lie to you. I mean, listen, if you'd listened to the last podcast, you would have known that.
I listened to a bit of it, but I'm a busy man.
Busy enough for an hour.
57 hours.
That's it. But I mean, that is that podcast that is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Apple Music. It's on all of those ones. So Apple Music, it's Amazon Music as well. It's on all those ones, guys. Make sure you follow that one as well. But yes, so the next one is crunchy versus smooth peanut butter.
Crunchy. I like a good bite.
You know what? I've had crunchy a couple times. I get why people like it, but personally, I just prefer smooth.
Like, I can understand why you would like smooth, because are you just there for the flavor?
Well,
like,
I mean,
do you have peanut butter on its own or with jam?
I think I've only ever had it with jam maybe once, but
I always have peanut butter with jam.
See, I don't know if you'll get this one right. So my dad got me into this, but I quite like peanut butter on toast with tomatoes. I don't know if you've ever had that before.
No, I've never had it, but you know what? I don't think it's that weird, because one of my favorite recipes is I would take chicken and make it with a peanut butter and like a peanut butter sauce with a little bit of cream in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely
I feel
divine.
like sometimes peanut butter can be a bit dry in the middle. Like it can obviously make your mouth dry, so the tomato immediately
Yeah.
combats that. So yeah,
Like, if you
personally,
use it as a more of as a savory option, like with your
mm,
sweet wet tomato, or like
mm,
your sweet wetter jams,
mm.
it's there as a sort of like
I mean, fairness,
to add a bit of a
yeah,
difference.
yeah. Aye, definitely. Anyway, yeah. So, guys, as well, let me know what your thoughts are on some of the topics we discussed there. But this one, I feel like, is also going to divide the room. Remy might get that joke slightly. What I mean by that one. But so the next one.
I don't know whether it's the wine or it's just a good joke.
So the next one, we're talking about sandwiches, and we're talking. Do you cut them in triangles or rectangles?
Now this will put a strain on a relationship. I am not allowed to make toast for my fiance because apparently I cut it the wrong way. Rectangles.
You cut it in rectangles. All right. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's what I no. Do you make a sandwich in rectangles?
I don't know.
That's why I cut it in rectangles.
I mean, in all honesty, right? I can't say I've ever cared enough. I've done both. But you know what? Whenever I'm making sandwiches, say I'm making sandwiches for lunch or something, I do whatever I feel like is actually going to fit in the box.
See, I don't care in the sense of like, oh, it's better one way or the other. I don't give a shit. It's just when she tells me I'm wrong. That's why I hate it so much. It's like, there's no fucking wrong way, but this is my way. It's because what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I mean, is she there now?
No, she didn't, thankfully. I've been getting stuff thrown at me.
Oh, dearie me. So, team, one of the reasons I've asked Remy, obviously, onto the podcast as well, is when it comes to like the gaming and stuff like that, he's definitely he's more. Well, he knows a lot more than me. He knows a lot more than me, right? What can I say? He knows a lot more. So, he definitely be able to give you more reliable information about certain topics than what I can, and can definitely help you guys know as well, maybe about certain kind of controversial topics in gaming, know very much about maybe a little bit more information about certain games or different companies as well, that can maybe help you get a general idea about the kind of games that you're buying, and the kind of companies that you're giving money to as well. I mean, on one of the topics at the moment we were just kind of discussing off recording there was about Dr. Disrespect and him selling NFTs. Remy, do you want to share a little bit more light on the kind of situation and the kind of generalization of the topic as well?
See, I don't think it's fair to say that he's just selling NFTs, because that would be slander, because that is sort of like a misappropriation of information there.
Yeah,
it's more of the fact that so at the end of last year, I think November or December, I can't remember the exact month, but Dr. Disrespect, Guy Beam, he founded a new gaming studio called Midnight Society.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, with him being so influential within the FPS community, like him both being,
I mean, for anyone that doesn't know Dr. Disrespect, he is.
He's huge.
He's huge, both metaphorically and literally.
He's built.
I'm pretty sure he's like 7 foot or something. It's ridiculous.
It's huge. But in terms
of
his online footprint, he's a massive entity.
Absolutely, and he's also he's somebody, like, obviously streaming wise, a lot of people just put themselves into the bracket, but he has created a persona that is recognized massively across the world now. So
yeah, the fact that he wears a wig, sunglasses, like the armor.
Yeah,
it's the red and black. It's an identity, because I guarantee he doesn't act like this when he's at home with his wife and kids.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And
so
on you go.
It's a case of like so he's hiring a lot of people. So one of the multiplayer online creative directors for Halo 5 multiplayer, like he's a few other industry veterans in so far from Midnight Society. Now, bear in mind, with this game is still does not exist. And it's a case of like the team is still being made. We're not going to see anything like any gameplay until like the end of 2023 at the latest. And most games like this, they will have what's called a founder's pass. So
Mm-hmm.
sort of like a digital deluxe edition for like a AAA standardized release, but this is going to be a free to play PvP experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like there will be a founders edition, and it's not like a 10,000 community members will, and I quote this, will have the opportunity to apply for the privilege of being one of our first and only 10,000 founders. Now, what that essentially means is you have to apply to be lucky enough to be one of the 10,000 people to pay £50 to get an NFT for a game that does not exist. We don't know if it's going to be good. We don't know if it's going to live, die, what's going to happen with it. But he's selling an NFT before he's even finished his development.
But here's a question: is it potentially a smart marketing move in the sense of
no? He's faced so much backlash over this online, like a lot of backlash.
So people that own these NFTs, in your opinion, do you feel that there is scope for these NFTs to grow massively in value?
Yes, because it's imagine the CS:GO skin marketplace. That is essentially, I think, what they're so. These are a one-time unique transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So they are like every single, but it's not a case like you can sell the NFT. It's a profile. You can sell the profile. So whatever, I think what they've described it as is a unique procedurally generated avatar will be created for each of the 10,000. Now, I don't believe that for a second that they're gonna create 10,000 unique fucking profiles for every one of these people.
If they've advertised it as that, then surely they have to.
You would think that, but look at how many times like big streaming identities, like personalities like this have come out and tried to create stuff like this, and at the end of the day, they soon realize that they may have bitten off more than they can chew.
Yeah, it does also come down to like motivation for it. Like if they don't feel like it's getting the ground or the media attention that they want it to get, that maybe they just want to pull the plug. So it's got to be about kind of if Doctor Disrespect's resolve is good enough for this. Like,
I don't doubt the man's resolve. He is a very, very stubborn individual.
Yeah, if he thinks this is going to take off and he really commits to it, I fully believe that this will work. Like, because a lot of people pull the plug.
I only think it'll work based off of the success of the game, and
yeah, obviously,
based off of his viewpoints on Halo Infinite, a game that is, I can't tell you why, but not on PC, not on Steam. I think it averages them at peak maybe 15,000, but on the Xbox app and console side, it's doing really fucking well, like really well. And this is a game that doesn't have Forge, so custom games, like proper custom games, and it doesn't have campaign co-op yet. This game is doing really fucking well, and it is not feature complete. There are a lot of game modes that need to be added. There are a lot of things that need to be added, and he seems to think that Halo Infinite is a dead or dying game because it doesn't have a battle royale. Like that, he said this before it launched, and I think he reiterated his point in a stream about a month or two ago.
I mean, it was a debate at one point about if Halo wanted to grow, pardon the pun, infinitely. Like a battle royale mode was a way to almost appeal to the more kind of the generation of gamers coming through now.
Yeah, but look at how far Battlefield Battlefield has fallen, and how pissed people are with Call of Duty Vanguard.
Yeah,
like, a lot of people have flocked over to Halo.
It's irritating, right? Because they actually had something very good with Warzone. They actually did, and they've kind of ruined it.
Have you played the Pacific map? Have you played the new one?
Sorry,
it's bad.
Sorry, I couldn't help but thinking that not specifically. No,
I know a lot of people that have just stopped playing.
Yeah,
like, they don't play Warzone anymore.
See that the first time Warzone was released, I
thought, I played it. I played the shit out of it.
I thought it was class. And they've just they've ruined it more or less. I mean, I think sometimes like gaming companies feel like they have to change a format. Like they have to change. They just have to change it. When they, realistically, do they? Like you look at games that are like some of the most successful games in the world. Like, you look at LOL, for example, like
Mm.
it's on the same map that's been there for God knows how long. But what they
How long
do
has LoL been
release,
around? 10 years.
yeah, but what they keep releasing is constantly new skins, new
Yeah.
characters, the new things that you can play with on the same map.
See,
This is a
I think Call of
concept.
Duty have been trying that for years, but the problem with that is you can release as many like skins or content updates as you want, but if you constantly fuck with your gameplay loop, like that's why so many people have stick. Like I hate League of Legends, I really
Mm,
do. I don't like MOBAs,
mm,
but the reason so many people still stay with it is because there is no major like there are metas within the game, but there are no like major
mm,
tweaks to the gameplay core element. Like the core gameplay will always remain the same.
mm,
But if you look at Warzone, like how much has Warzone changed since like you and I played it like years
mm.
ago when it first started to now? It's a completely different game. It
It,
doesn't feel anything like it. They keep
it feels like
changing it.
almost they should have just kept with the same kind of format they had,
Yeah.
where like shotguns are good at close range, but awful at long range. You had obviously that issue with the 720. I think you may remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, ages
Which is
ago.
actually something that pisses me off because shotguns are some of my favorite games,
Yeah,
favorite weapons in gaming.
absolutely.
And
Assault
having been
rifles.
hunting a lot
Yeah,
in my life, like I know that like if you put like a deer slug into like a 12 gauge deer slug into a shotgun, you can be accurate up to 100 feet.
yeah. I'm. But obviously they keep to the same
It would be
format. So
overpowered.
like, yeah, the SMGs are good, for kind of short to medium range, and obviously assault rifles are good, kind of medium range to potentially long range. They keep the format so that there's options for these people to know what guns to use. Sniper
Mm.
rifles great from long range, but really difficult to use at short range, or even there's still potential for quick scopes and stuff like that. I mean,
See,
remember the controversy. I don't know if you remember the controversy over
the
was it
rose skin.
Modern Warfare 2 or something like that? Where they
Oh, oh yes,
no no
model 1980s, or was it?
no
Was it
it was sniper rifles I'm on about. It's
oh,
I
the
think
intervention?
yeah, they changed how quickly you went into the scope because
Yes.
it narrowed the accuracy
I
so
think that was a
significantly.
change into
Okay.
that changed with Black Ops 1. That was
Yeah,
David
that
Vonderhaar,
was
who was the head of multiplayer over at Treyarch. I don't know if he still is, but during like the Black Ops
mm,
1, 2, and 3 era, like it was David Vonderhaar, and he changed that because
mm,
he didn't like how overused, let's
mm.
say, snipers were in the multiplayer aspect of a close quarters engagement. Like
Yeah,
it takes a lot of fucking skill.
it does. It wasn't something that like everyone did because it was easy. It was one of the coolest ways to get kills.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I've lodged plenty of controllers into drywall because of being quick scoped round a tight bend. But
but you still played it, didn't you?
it's oh absolutely because it was fantastic,
Yeah.
and because the satisfaction of killing that little fucker was amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, the campers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you know what?
claymores.
It really does. Does it sadden you how far like the FPS genre has come in general? Like
Yeah.
imagine like when we were in our younger years, like coming home from school playing Halo
Mm,
3, fucking Black Ops, Modern Warfare,
mm,
playing all these games and just having the time of your life, and like
yeah.
seeing how not I think bastardized is the wrong word. I think cannibalized, how cannibalized the industry has become,
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
sense of this constant content craving, like a
Mm,
necessity. Like that's why I think like a lot of my friends especially have sort of stuck with Halo Infinite in a sense,
mm,
because yes, there is a battle pass, but if you buy a battle pass in Halo Infinite, you never lose it. You can take 3 years to finish a battle pass if you truly want to.
mm,
If you buy a battle pass, you have that permanently. You just need to buy the next one that comes out. That's
yeah.
it. So for me, it's not like they update their store every Tuesday, but it's not a constant thing of like, oh, new skin, new skin. It's about the gameplay.
Mm.
Like you can say a lot about what you
don't
want
get me
about
wrong,
Halo.
right? As much as you may disagree with it, right? A battle royale mode in Halo
Would ruin it.
it would ruin it.
You would immediately
It,
exercise
it would
any
ruin it for
faithful.
you, but it would take off massive. The game has got
I
so
don't think it
much
would.
core
I think
values for it.
I think it would take off massively in the first couple months, and then it would die down because Warzone 2, Fortnite, Apex, just other games that have been going out so much longer. Like, okay, Warzone currently is terrible, but we don't know what Warzone 2 is going to bring. Apex, like, it still has its cheating stuff and problems.
I
Like,
think
Fortnite
Warzone's
is
out the
Fortnite.
window, to be honest. I think they're going to change it again. It's going to be good. I mean, Apex for me was never really in the loop, but a lot of people seem to still
Isn't
like
Warzone
it.
2 launching alongside the Modern Warfare 2 remake?
But,
Or not remake, reboot
potentially,
game?
but I feel like the game's now gone. I feel like they're in recovery mode, and any games that could go into recovery mode almost very, very rarely ever make it out. I can't think of really any games at the top of my head that I know that went from a really bad stage to potentially very, very good.
See, that's why people have said that about Halo, but I just don't think Halo Infinite is in recovery mode at all. It can only get better, and it has only gotten better.
It was a risky one. They run the risk of releasing every mode and it being okay to releasing some very much focused areas which were multiplayer and whatnot, and it being very, very good. I feel they've done the right thing with keeping the multiplayer free. I feel
Yeah, that was like Andy, a mutual friend of ours, said to me during the time, like when he found out, because I hinted at him. I wasn't allowed to tell him why, but and he didn't believe it. But when it came out that it was free to play, so master stroke by Microsoft, because it is a genuine genius play to make, because unless, like, because if you think about free to play, you think battle royale. You don't necessarily think just a regular competitive multiplayer game. Like, anybody can hop on, like anybody on like anywhere the Game Pass exists. So the console or PC, anybody can hop on and play some big team battle.
I had the discussion with the same person as well about FIFA at one point, where we talked about the way that FIFA could be going down the route of a kind of free to play game where
see, if it became free to play, I would actually hop back on it again with you guys.
Yeah,
but I will never spend money on that game.
But it might be like the case of certain game modes you have to pay for. So like it's a career mode would probably be one. I would imagine they would probably make a pay to play one. I mean, it very much could be the case of where FIFA is free to play, but the one in the section they leave open. Oh no, the
one section they'll leave open is their moneymaker. It's going to be Ultimate Team, yeah.
Exactly, because they don't need people to pay.
Which is the biggest problem, because I don't give a shit about Ultimate Team. The thing I love the most about it, and it's actually where you and I met, is pro clubs.
Exactly,
I love pro clubs.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best game modes, but at the same time, it's one of the least developed, and therefore loses the most amount of players.
It's because it makes them the least money. They don't make money off of pro clubs.
I would pay for cosmetics on pro clubs. I'm not gonna lie, like tattoos and stuff like that. See if you could have. I'd pay for that on pro clubs. Absolutely, it'd be something I would love. And listen, don't get me wrong. Like FIFA has been very much it's been
think about it this way. See if you had the option to to cosmetically have your player play in a fucking tuxedo. I would love that shit.
Yeah,
like a top hat. Like, imagine some fucker
I feel
a 30-yard wonder goal in a top hat and monocle.
I do feel that's maybe a route that they don't want to take, because then that kind of it like one of the biggest selling points of FIFA is its authenticity, to the fact that it has all the licenses, it has all the. I mean, if it is, I should add, they lose all these. Well, they don't lose them; they become open. Very, very soon. So, the EA don't have the exclusive rights to just these teams. So this is where it becomes interesting to see what teams, what games come out fully.
See, I wish Pro Evo didn't fuck it so much when they went to free to play, because they had the right idea. They were doing the smart move, but the game just was terrible.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. The game is terrible, but they
had the right idea.
They can always go back and listen. Pro Evo's been in the bin multiple times, but it's come back still. There's still loyal people that play it, so therefore, while there's still loyal people that play it, the game will still develop and it will still keep going. Yeah. So, and listen, there has to be a competitor to FIFA, because if there isn't, that creates a lot more problems. And in the game because
I don't know. Because like Andy and I have had this conversation many times, and him and I have agreed. I equate it a little bit to Xbox and Sony. I don't. They anybody that knows anything about the gaming industry, like truly knows that they do not compete. They coexist now. Like that's one thing that they had to learn, like especially on the Xbox side of things.
But
like you can't compete with the other.
On the debate on the other side, right? Would they have gotten to the positions that they are if they hadn't been competing with each other? Because theoretically, you can only be as good as what your competitor is, and then try and beat them.
I don't know, because they offer such completely different things. Like Xbox isn't a console; it's a service. There is the old adage, like Sony sparked during when Don Matrick was fired, and like Big Daddy Phil Spencer came in and saved the fucking day. When he took over, Sony sparked a competitive streak in Xbox that we're likely never ever going to see in the gaming industry again. Like how far ahead Sony were because of their business model and what they were doing. They essentially forced Xbox to become something entirely different. Like if you think about Xbox, do you think about the console or do you just think about Game Pass?
I mean, Game Pass is probably is now evolved into one of the first things you now see with and listen,
that's what it is. It's a service.
It's to use what you used earlier, a masterstroke, in the sense of the fact that a lot of people became, listen, there's a downside to it. It's kind of almost killed off the likes of game stores and stuff like that, because
no, don't get me wrong, like especially for like people our age growing up, like going into GameStop game or
pre-owned
whatever
games.
Do you remember Extravision or Blockbuster, like renting games? Fuck me.
see, I never actually rented the game, which I wish I had known about beforehand, because it would have saved me a lot of money in the long run.
Like I remember like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, I rented fucking Spyro. It was Spyro 2, Gateway to Glimmer, and then I finally convinced my dad to get it for me. Oh, it was so good. It was amazing.
It's like you remember midnight launches, going into the GameStops and stuff like that, and like
I went to the midnight launch for the Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
I also got Valhalla at that same event.
Aye, I mean, listen, like it kind of annoys me a little bit that now game is now owned by Mike Ashley, who like loves 0 hour contracts. Like he's just not a good. Well,
ethically,
ethically, he's one of the worst people like business world. But like you can't diss the fact that he's a genius when it comes to business. He is.
Oh, like in terms of business, the man's an absolute fucking genius. But as a human being, he sucks eggshells.
Yeah, he's just not. His ethics are very, very questionable. But yeah, when it comes to business, he knows what he's doing. He does, and it's frustrating, but at the same time,
to be at that level of business, like you have to be that kind of slimy bastard, because he relies entirely on sales, not on the PR of anything he owns.
Yeah,
like if you look at it, like with Xbox now, like look at their social media accounts, look at like Phil Spencer himself, like he comes out and says something entirely wholesome and everybody fucking falls in love with the guy. Like versus Sony with their higher ups and like Jim Ryan, where they don't do that, but they have such a reliable business in terms of the product that they offer. That is kind of like what Mike Ashley has done. Like he the product and service that he offers is unfortunately that good that it outweighs his lack of ethics. Whereas you look at other businesses like Xbox, where they sort of thrive off building that community aspect. Like 15 years ago, can you ever imagine the head of Xbox like congratulating fucking PlayStation like on Twitter on a great launch of a game, or vice versa? Like fucking studio heads at fucking Sony congratulating the likes of Double Fine over at Xbox, like for the launch of Psychonauts 2. Like you would never have seen that, but that's the
it's
kind
a
of
bit bizarre because it's like you think of people still think versus like I don't think you can get really rid of that. People still think of Xbox versus PS, but
those people are no. The console war does not exist. Sony and Xbox, like Sony and Microsoft, have an amazing relationship. Like it's the fans that hate each other. Like the companies, like
yeah.
Sony use a lot
Oh
of
wait,
Xbox.
do we even bring in the debate of PC? Because that just like
Because I am now because that I am now I've moved from console to
mm,
PC.
no,
it,
it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like people
it
will
offers
still
it's a very different. I don't think it's fair to bring in PC into that debate because it's just it's such a different and unique platform.
mm,
Like look at the plug and play nature of having an Xbox console
mm-hmm,
or having a PlayStation console or a Nintendo console.
mm-hmm,
Like I think the way Xbox differentiates itself is
mm,
I'm now on PC, but I still play on Xbox. I still heavily use Game Pass, just the PC
mm,
version of it now.
yeah.
It's where I play Halo, Sea of Thieves, and all other games.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Listen, it comes into to change up general preference. I mean, obviously, I have all three alternatives.
Yeah.
In
I
fairness,
don't think
in
I don't
fairness,
think
actually,
any one plastic box is better than the other. Play games where it
but
makes you fucking happy.
but one I do say is better, and it is going to be controversial.
PC.
No, I say the Switch is best of all three.
Out of what all three games that it offers?
No, yeah, that's the downside, the biggest downside. But for actual consoles that genuinely are a masterstroke, I
In
think
terms of a master
brilliant.
stroke of business, I think that's because of Nintendo's shitty business
Oh
ethics.
yeah, listen, the console idea and everything is absolutely
Oh yeah,
brilliant. Like the fact
console.
I love the fact that during the summer I was able to play The Witcher outside of my garden with a pint, just there,
it still
enjoy the sun.
pains me that that's the first place that you finished The Witcher. It's on a fucking Switch.
It was, but it was because it allowed me the freedom to play it wherever. The
I
fact
suppose that was a case of we were locked in the house and we were looking at any reason not to be in our room.
yeah, well, yeah, because obviously during lockdown we were spending so long indoors, and
Did I ever tell you how many games not just played but actually finished over the lockdown period?
I do believe so, because you then calculated how much money you'd
Oh
actually
yeah,
saved, or was it saved, or was it like
saved because of Game Pass.
yeah, I mean
It was something scary like what. I think I have a Facebook. It was like 1,680 odd pound because they had to convert my Xbox Live Gold into Game Pass Ultimate, and I got an entire 13 months for £1. I saved over £1,600, and it was I played and finished 117 games
there you
in that
go.
period of time.
I mean, a lot of people might say that's sad, but listen,
Oh no, it is. But I couldn't fucking leave the house. Nobody could leave the house. We were stuck indoors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I loved working from home. I can't lie, but it's not really a luxury I necessarily have. And at the same time, it's not necessarily the route I wanted to go down when I took my career path. I am very much into the coaching and kind of developing youth for the future of sport. But
Why not get in contact with Livy?
I did. I was. That's how I got my job in the US. Because my time spent at Livingston Football Club. I got basically. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, I'll explain this briefly. So, I spent 3 months coaching in the US. Coaching football. Best decision I ever made was going out to the US to do this. I went very underqualified, I should add, and very underexperienced. But the reason I got the job was because I decided that I wanted to coach, but I needed to learn the basics. I learned the basics from Livingston Football Club, and then paid out of my own pocket to do my coaching badges, which, in all honesty, all the coaching badges except for the last one, you don't do an assessment for. You just needed to take part. So the last one I had to do an assessment. Yeah, and
so what level of coaching badge do you actually have?
C license. No. C license is entirely different. C license you do have an assessment for, but I did that after I came back from the US. Yeah. Speaking before the US, I did my 1.3, which was only one I actually had to do an assessment for. and even in the assessment wasn't really pass or fail. It was more like you did it, and then they'd give you advice on it. And I mean, I did a hard session for it, but it was still one that I still did okay on. And then after that, I then got I was looking on Indeed, just looking for other jobs, and I seen this opportunity to go travel to the US, which I did. I went to the US. I had my interview for this over my Xbox over Skype, which I still find.
I fucking respect that.
Yeah, I was sitting in my room, the other room there.
Wait, did you use your Kinect?
No.
Oh.
I wasn't that bad. Don't worry. I was sitting on my desk with it. I had the voice call over my my TV. Guy switched his camera off and stuff like that. But basically, I just did the interview there. I got the offer the job there and then. I think it was nearly 3 to 4 weeks afterwards. I was on the plane to the US. I had my visa sorted. I had all my travel plans sorted. I got my police check sorted. I got all that done within the 4 weeks. And I was on the plane to the US to basically go coach and live the dream out there. And it was unreal. One of the best things. I say to literally anyone that if you have the opportunity to work abroad and you have that freedom to do so, because it opens your eyes to the whole world to kind of just experience it. It grew me.
Experience a different way of living.
It is, and you know what? It grew me up massively. I matured massively when I was over there. I was probably very naive. The scariest thing was I was very underqualified, very underexperienced compared to everyone else that was there. Despite the fact there was people there that were younger than me, a lot of them had more experience in the field of coaching, which I didn't have at the time. But it gave me a lot more life experience, a lot more life tools to use later on, and like I say, it grew me up massively. Because I remember my first session was absolutely awful. Right, it was so bad. I honestly think back to it, I'm embarrassed at how badly it went. And it was even worse than the fact that all the coaches that we were living with were there, and I just remembered.
Why did it go bad though?
Right. I'll try and explain it briefly. So basically, I had we were doing a kind of camp kind of thing for kids at the time, and I think it was maybe about 20 kids in this coaching session between the 4 coaches that we had. And when it came to my turn to run an activity, I was doing a kind of shooting drill because I figured that everyone loves shooting. But at the time, I had like I said, my experience would have taught me the other way of doing this. But basically, I gave all the kids numbers. I put two kids in net. And basically, I just used to shout a number, and they would just go up and shoot. But if your number wasn't called, you were just in this square dribbling. The drill was massively overcomplicated. Kids got bored waiting for the number to be shouted, so they started messing about. And then the kids that were the 2 that were going in net were getting bored of the fact that the kids that were shooting really poorly. So there wasn't much opportunity for coaching. There was just so many things that went wrong with this that, I mean, the fact that I can tell you everything that went wrong with it now just kind of shows the fact that this was a few years ago and it still sticks heavily in my mind. It was one of the biggest learning experiences I had, and after that, every session I did, I fine-tuned and made sure it was simplified and was good. Because one of the worst things you can do in coaching is overcomplicate something where to the situation that becomes a mess. That was one of the biggest learning experiences I had over there was that. And listen, after that I became a hell of a lot better coach. I left with even being invited back, which was unreal. So I definitely take that every day of the week. But listen, I left on the day that Donald Trump got elected, so it tells you the reason why I never went back after I got invited. But yeah, I mean, listen, it looked like the good move, didn't it, in the end? So yeah, but yeah, that was definitely one of the best experiences of my life. Was traveling and doing that, because like I said, you just.
Do you ever think you would get back into the coaching though?
100%. This is kind of the avenue that I'm in at the moment. and kind of the things that I've been waiting
Yes,
to happen.
with Nike.
Yes, yeah. I've had to bide my time. COVID has been a big element. We've not been able to kind of really go out and do what I wanted to do. One of the reasons that I kind of joined the company I'm with now, because of that. But listen, safety first at the end of the day, and eventually when I can get out, it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. But listen, team, on that one, we're going to end the podcast just there. Obviously, Remy, thank you very much for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it was. It's been a good one. Very interesting, and going to require a lot of editing because there'll be a lot of things that a lot of people will not hear on this podcast. But listen, it's absolutely fine. Team, if you are watching this on YouTube, please do consider subscribing. And if you are listening to this on podcast, please do drop us a follow as well. And make sure you stay tuned for the Simply Sport pod as well. That will be recorded on the Monday and hopefully be out on the Tuesday. So, team, as well, please do listen out for that as well. And also, if you want to keep up to date with the podcast, make sure that you check us on Twitter at the Simply Pod. You keep up with all the updates there. But other than that, thank you very much from me and listening and or watching the podcast. It means massively, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios, team.